Today, we're unpacking a story that takes us to the absolute heights of Dubai society. It's got all the elements of a thriller, a stunning penthouse, a powerful prince, and a secret relationship that ends in absolute tragedy. This is a story about ambition, power, and a promise that was fatally broken.
So let's set the scene. We're in Dubai, in a $15 million penthouse on the 43rd floor of one of the most exclusive buildings in the city. I mean, this wasn't just an apartment, right? It was a symbol of the incredible life Maria Santos had built for herself, a life that was a world away from where she started. But this ultimate symbol of success was about to become a crime scene.
And this is the core of the mystery. Police find this message saved in the drafts on Maria's phone. I can't live like this anymore. So the question is, was this a genuine cry for help? A suicide note? Or was it something much, much darker? A killer's cold and calculated move to cover his tracks?
To really understand what went down in that penthouse, we have to go back. We need to trace the path of Maria Santos, this dreamer who went from a small town in the Philippines all the way to the lap of luxury in Dubai. What was driving her? And, what kind of risks did that journey open her up to?
I mean, just look at this. The contrast is unbelievable. On one side, you have her childhood in Cebu City, a tiny two-room house, a family just trying to get by. And on the other side, her life in Dubai. It's a whole different universe. Panoramic views, private jets, designer everything. This incredible leap is what fueled her, but it's also what made her so incredibly vulnerable.
And this timeline really shows you her grit. This was not some overnight thing. She decides on her dream at 18, but by 2015, she's already facing rejection. They told her her accent wasn't neutral enough. But did she quit? No way. She kept pushing, and by 2017, she lands her dream job with Emirates. Then, just 2 years later, she gets that promotion to first class, and that's where she walks right into her destiny.
It's in first class that she meets Sheikh Khalid, a member of Dubai's ruling family, and so begins this whirlwind romance. But it's a romance that has to be kept completely secret, one defined by unbelievable luxury but locked down by secrecy. It was, for her, a golden cage.
And these were the rules of the game. Absolute total discretion. They were never seen in public together. Her cover story? She was a consultant. It's a classic power imbalance, right? She gets to live this incredibly privileged life, but it has zero legitimacy. It existed completely on his terms. His family was a no-go zone, and a public future together, completely off the table. Never gonna happen.
Looking back, this warning from her roommate is just chilling. Be careful in first class. Different rules up there. Maria just kind of laughed it off. She was confident. She thought she could handle it. But she was stepping into a world where the rules weren't just different. They were written by and for the powerful men she was serving drinks to.
So the relationship goes on for years, but the pressure is building on Khaled to marry someone from his own circle. And that golden cage starts to feel less like a paradise and more like a prison, which leads Maria to come up with a very, very desperate plan.
And boom, this is the moment it all comes crashing down. And how does she find out? Not in some heartfelt conversation, no. She's scrolling Instagram on a layover and sees a post from a royal family news account. It's Khaled with his cousin. The caption? Wedding bells soon. In that instant, her entire world, which was built on this secret, just evaporates.
Terrified she's about to be kicked to the curb with nothing, Maria makes a bold move. Step 1, she starts documenting everything. Videos, messages, you name it. Step 2, she creates a failsafe, uploading all of it to a secure encrypted cloud account. And then, the final crucial move. She shares the password, the key, with her best friend in Singapore. It was an insurance policy, designed to detonate only if something bad happened to her.
And this is how she framed it in her own mind. She told her friend, "This isn't blackmail, it's insurance." See, for her, this wasn't about extortion. It was about protection for herself and for her family back home who now depended on her completely. But here's the thing. In the world she was now a part of, the line between insurance and a threat is dangerously, dangerously thin.
So, this all sets the stage for the final confrontation. Khaled confirms he's engaged, and he makes her what he calls a parting arrangement. But for Maria, it's nowhere near enough. What starts as a negotiation is about to escalate, and it's going to end in tragedy.
Just look at the gap between what he's offering and what she's demanding. It's not just a gap, it's a canyon. On the left, his offer, about $272,000, one time.
sign an NDA, get out. On the right, her demand, $5 million plus ongoing support. She wasn't just asking for a payout, she was fighting for the future she had promised her family. They weren't just on different pages, they were reading completely different books.
So in that final meeting, she decides to play her ace. She tells him about the videos, hoping to force a better offer. He asks for proof, wanting to know how bad it is. And then, she makes the fatal mistake. She tells him it's not just on her phone, it's all backed up in the cloud, and a friend has access. In that single moment, for Khaled, the problem stopped being about money. It became about a threat he could never, ever control.
Realizing he couldn't just buy his way out of this, Khalid attacks Maria and strangles her. And what he does next is just chillingly methodical. He stays in that apartment for over 2 hours, wiping every surface, deleting files, and, in the coldest move of all, typing that fake suicide note on her phone. At 11:42 p.m., the security cameras catch him leaving, looking completely calm.
But the story isn't over, not by a long shot. In a system built to protect its own, getting any kind of justice seemed impossible. But a perfect storm of outside pressure forced their hand, leading to what you might call calculated justice, a situation where protecting Dubai's global image became more important than protecting one of its own royals.
So how did this actually lead to an arrest? Well, it was a combination of things. The biggest piece of the pie, a whopping 40%, was Maria's insurance policy finally kicking in. Her friend Jasmine released the evidence. Then, international media picked it up, creating a PR nightmare. The government of the Philippines put on diplomatic pressure. And finally, at the end of the day, Dubai's leadership made a business decision: sacrifice one nephew to protect the city's brand as a safe haven.
So here's where everyone ended up. Sheikh Khaled got 25 years, and his family basically erased him from history. The Santos family accepted what's known as a blood money payment. And the irony? It was more than the $5 million Maria had demanded. They used that money to start a foundation in her name. And the lead detective? He resigned. That tells you everything you need to know about the politics of play.
And this quote from her father, Eduardo, wow, it's just heartbreaking. She was trying to build my dream. In the end, her family didn't see her as an extortionist. They saw her as their daughter, who was desperately trying to keep a promise she made to them, to build something for her family that would last. And in a tragic, roundabout way, through the foundation, she actually did.
And that's the question we're left with, isn't it? A powerful man went to prison, and a family received financial compensation. But when justice is only served as a PR move, as a strategic calculation to protect a brand, can you really call it justice? It's something to think about.